All right, go ahead and write the title here, Watershed Introduction. You're going to write everything that is underlined in the PowerPoint. When you get to the end of the PowerPoint, make sure you go to my website, and under my website, under videos, you will see Watershed videos. You need to watch those videos. If you need to stop it so that you have time to write what's underlined, you can go ahead and stop it and then hit play. These are all the watersheds here in Dallas. Numerous watersheds all around the DFW area and outside. This one is the one that Grand Prairie is found in, Lower West Fort Trinity. All of the water in this area flows to the same place. So that's why this is called the Lower West Fort Trinity Watershed. So what's in a watershed? All of these things can affect a watershed. So how do humans impact it? Well, we use our land, which can create more erosion. We can create a lot of pollution. Point sources would be factories dumping straight into the river or the creek. Non-point would be, say, a whole residential area putting fertilizer on the lawns, and then it rains and it washes into the water system. That would be non-point. Urban runoff. So you get oil and gasoline and different chemicals that just get poured and dumped onto concrete, streets, sidewalks, lawns. And when it rains, all of this is going to wash down into the drain, skipping the water treatment plant, going straight into our watershed. All right, so some of the stuff that we see every day that actually does get dumped into our environment, oil and grease, pesticides, viruses, and bacteria from pet waste, road salts, mainly, say up here in the north. You get up there and you get a lot of ice and snow, and they put the salts on the roads to melt the ice and snow. So go ahead and write this. Erosion is a big thing that can affect waterways. How does it affect aquatic life? You can't get enough light down through the sediment to get to any of the aquatic life or macroinvertebrates. You also cannot get air down in there. The sediment won't allow the air to diffuse into the water as well. Here's some before and after pictures, some restoration that was done. If you look at the left side, you can see that it's not as green as the right side. So when it comes to erosion, plants and their roots actually hold the dirt and soil in place, and this doesn't allow the sediments to erode and go into the rivers. So it's actually good to have more plants along waterways. So that can be restored very easily by planting more vegetation. So what are the functions? Collect, store, and release. Where's collection? Well, it comes down mountains and valleys, flows down from those sources. Vegetation can absorb the water and maintain it, and then man-made surfaces can actually hold the water in place. How do we store it? You got lakes, reservoirs, and wetlands, soil, groundwater, snow and ice, and biology, meaning animals. Animals will drink up the water and also store it. Well, how's it released? It can be released from one stream or river or lake into another. It can be released down through the groundwater, evaporation in the water cycle, and human engineering, say like your irrigation for farms. Here are some sciences that study watershed: hydrology, chemistry, biology, and ecology. Hydrology, again, is just the study of movement, the movement of water through our environment. This is just obviously a picture of the water cycle, but there are hydrologists that study this movement through the environment, the ecosystem. Chemistry, one of the things that we're doing, we can study the chemicals that are found in the water. We can know particular ranges so that if we're outside those ranges, we know we need to do something to bring it back in to make the watershed healthy. Bacteria, algae, plants, and animals, the biology part of a watershed, are huge factors within an ecosystem and within a watershed. So you can see watershed ecosystem dynamics, just talking about the flow within a watershed. Lots of variables come into play, whether it's bacteria, whether it's just the structure of the soil, whether it's how many plants, trees, bushes, grass. Well, why do we need to study it? Well, if we look at the picture, we can see the red dot. If we took a water sample of that red dot, and we would think that that source is containing particular chemicals, well, we got to realize that it's not just that source in that area. We got to realize that everything upstream, could be miles and miles upstream, is going to affect that one location. So we've got to not only study that area, but study everything upstream to make sure that what's upstream won't affect the things that are downstream. So you have point source and non-point source pollution. Point source, obviously we can basically point to it, coming straight out of a factory, sewage treatment plant, industrial facilities. Non-point would be, say, urban runoff. We put a bunch of fertilizer on our grass. We change our oil and spill some and get it on the concrete, and it rains and it washes off in there. Or even agricultural runoff. You've got the cows that poop everywhere, and it rains, and all that washes down into the river, goes down into our watershed and our water. You have, again, the fertilizers that are going to be put on crops or on our lawns, and all that gets washed in. That's non-point. So go ahead and write point source, direct discharge into water, and examples, and the same for non-point. All right, so human activities have greatly altered things. We know that we can affect the environment, and we need to do things that we can actually turn it back and restore it and bring it back to a healthy environment. So you can see here, a survey was done. 55% of the nation's flowing waters are in poor biological condition, and 23% are in fair. So poor, over half of the waters are in a poor biological condition, means that aquatic life is having a hard time living in it. And nearly 40% of the fish in North America are threatened or endangered, and it's mainly because of human activity and what we're doing to the waters. All right, so everything you do that we can see and do with watersheds is directly affecting us, affecting the water we drink, affecting the water we bathe in. So it's a big factor in our lives that we need to make sure that we are studying and that we are controlling and fixing so that we have it for a long time. All right, so make sure now that you go to my website, go to videos. There is a couple watershed videos on there, and I want you to watch those.